Hello, I'm Sophia, welcoming you to the simplest law of attraction exercise. Now let's look at it from this perspective. How do you simply make a list of the things that you want to do? And you have the to-do things. The same way that you would sit in a restaurant and you'd look at a menu card and you would specifically, with so much intense feeling towards what it is you want to order and how specific you become in giving out your order, your instructions, and at the same time, when it comes to you being asked, what do you want? You go blank for a minute because you're not so sure what you want. And yet, you could sit there having a dialogue with yourself saying, I want this, but I know maybe I won't get it. So these are the contradictory kind of thoughts that you would have in dialogue with yourself. Yes, you're thinking, and at the same time, you are having a two-way conversation with you. You yourself and you are talking. And this goes on through the day's experiences with who and what and where and when and why and how. Okay, so now put yourself through this very simple yet very effective way of bringing you to the present span of attention. Okay, now let's say if for 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year from now, that whatever you want could possibly come true. Why say possibly? Because if you plant a seed into the pot, you don't keep digging it up to see if it's germinating. You're patient, you nurture it, you feel good, you're positively anticipating whether your rosebud is going to shoot or whatever it is you've planted is going to germinate and you're going to get, your flower, okay, or your fruit for that matter. And the other real example is that you have closed your envelope, you've addressed it, you put a stamp, and you shoved it into the post box. You don't keep going back there every day and, trying to get it out to see if it's still there, if it's gone, if it's been posted. Where does that come from? You have faith at that time. You trust. Without giving it a second thought, you just know that you've posted it to so and so, the address is right, the stamp is right, it's going to get there. And you're waiting in anticipation for the response and reply. The same way with what you plant. So, what are you planting in your mind and in your emotions? Why the contradictory, undermining aspect towards the self? So like we said, if you were to imagine right this moment that maybe tomorrow, a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, that whatever it is you're anticipating for would actually come through. Okay? That means that anything and everything that you ask now will prompt you to get into the mode of imagination. Okay? So, what are you imagining when you're told that whatever it is that you dream of aspiring to be, to become, to attain, to achieve, to accomplish would actually come true? So that would mean you'd have to use your imagination. Start by looking around you, yourself, your life. Where are you right now? In what state, in what level? Are you happy there? If not, can you possibly imagine another lifestyle other than the one you are living right now? Okay, what does your life look like in areas of your relationship with yourself, with your family, with your friends, in your workplace? How about your surroundings, where you live, your room, your office, your neighborhood? Good. That starts kicking in, actually getting your imaginative juices flowing. Great. So, in order for you to arrive to any place, you first have to visualize yourself through your imagination from where you are to where you want to be. Okay? So, can you write that down? All you need to invest in is a beautiful journal or notebook, and a pen. Keep a few in case you get too busy writing and you run out of ink. And start writing. Rewrite the way you want your life to really be in the next week, months, or year. So let's start with the easiest, tomorrow. Because a week, start one day at a time. Take one step at a time. Okay? So, start by noting down how you start your mornings. How do you always start your morning? What do you usually do? What is routine to you? What if you observed or unnoticeably you have not paid much attention? How do you spend your afternoons? What does your evening look like to you? How does that fall in? And finally, how do you retire? Now, do you notice how far you've come in just one day? Can you imagine? If that's not pleasing to you and the changes that you need to make, then you start by making your changes in one day. Notice around you how much of contentment you have around you, whether they're small, they're also significant. A smile is as significant a gift as a wrapped up parcel. Who do you live with? Where do you live? What's your home like, your area, your environment, your surroundings, your decors, your country, your village, your, lane? Is it community or is it flats? Is it, pay attention to all this, because maybe life has become so routinely that you really don't even stop to notice that there was a flower and there was no flower on your path. Maybe someone put a flower pot and you didn't even notice that because you just pass so fast through your life, and yet you are not content with everything around you. What do you intend to do with the things that you find are within your reach? Because you have to imagine it, you have to name it in order for you to claim it. Okay, so what do you have in your surroundings? Okay, now let's go back to you. Let's come to you. What about you? Have you always been the same person, wore the same kind of clothes? Are you introvert, conservative? Are you extrovert? Are you casual? Are you prim and proper? Do you really mind how you dress? Is it because you're dressing for your comfort, for you yourself, or is it because you're worried about what other people will see and say? I mean, so there's so many things happening in your life, but have you observed your emotions, your thought patterns, about yourself. So, do you have time for you? Or are you always rushed, exhausted, drained, mentally, emotionally, physically? Now let's look at a very important aspect. What would you consider to be wealth? Is it to have a big, fat bank account? A constant, big, fat paycheck? Okay. Your greatest asset, your greatest investment you possibly ever could make is in your health. That is you, yourself. Okay, so you start. Your health. Do you spend time eating healthy? Are you rushed? Are you always picking something quick and fast? You just grab something on the way because you're rushed, you don't have time to cook, you're exhausted. These are things you also have to include in your observation of yourself, because who you are comprises of all this. So, how's your health? How do you feel about you in any area that is run down? When you're not well, maybe there's a specific ailment you're dealing with. How did you get there? What do you feel about it? What are you doing about it? And how is it affecting you? Note this down. What does a day in your life look like now? Good. Welcome to you. Okay, so let's take it slowly, one step at a time. Let's say from the moment you wake up. Okay. And you are going to take note of everything that you do in one day. If you can objectively manage this and understand in what areas of your life you require to start the changes, beginning with yourself, then possibly that self that is overlooked and neglected, namely you, and you start paying attention to all these things, it'll be easier for you to incorporate the same application to the greater things that you're dreaming about, visualizing tirelessly, and still contradictory to your belief, faith, acceptance. Because, great. So, when you start your day in the morning, from the moment before you jump yourself out of bed, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Oh, just another bloody day. A new day in the same old shit. What is the dialogue you have? Do you feel happy? Do you feel pleasant? Do you offer gratitude for a new day? Do you sit there? Do you sulk? Do you drag yourself out of bed? Do you think about all the worst things that are going to happen? Great. So what you feel honestly to yourself, truthfully, note it down. Okay, what about inspirations and motivations and love and everything nice and glory in life flowing smoothly? How do you think you're going to accomplish this when you're always feeling under the weather, undermining yourself? So if you can bring yourself to write into details one day in your life, as opposed to thinking about a future 5 years down the road when you can't even begin to fathom one day that you want to manifest differently in your life. Okay. All the contradictory little self-talk that bring to you fear and doubt, and you got to learn to say, the same way you don't open a door to unwanted guests and oh, it's the salesman and he's coming, and you got to learn to maintain your calm and silent. And while you're deciding whether you're going to open the door and tell the salesperson no, you don't want anything, or you ignore it and hoping they'll go away, you can do the same with your thoughts. Actually, you can. So, when you learn to introduce yourself to the real you that you are, do you like that person? So what happened to the original person that you were used to? What replaced you? Okay, good. So, putting aside your fears, your worries, your doubts, your anxieties, your tensions, start your journal on writing one day in your life with you. How do you spend or start your day with you? The more you start becoming used to this, you will notice the things within yourself that you want to change, are ready to change. And don't forget to give so much more, add more luster to your writing, your colors, what you see, what you love, what you sense, what you hear, your taste. Apply your five senses to that. Okay, because you're not trying to make up a story, a feeble story, a fiction about your life. You're writing a reality about your life, one day in your life with you. Who are you? And what do you want? And the more you practice on this, give yourself a week into this, honestly, sincerely. And then you can start that a week from today, this is what I want. After your observation of your mundane routine, and what do you change a week after that? Then you start a fresh page with the new things that you have incorporated that are changing towards the same routine and are changing towards bringing out the you that you are, your authentic self. Okay? So when you get into this wonderful habit of writing, always finish off with gratitude. Do not scribble there that, I am such a loser and I am not good at this and, my life sucks. And no. Because if you were to actually rise above your own limitations and conditionalities. Let's say, for example, you were supposed to assess my paper and I had written something, and it may surprise you the things that I probably would write, but you're not going to write, you know what, I think you're far-fetched, I think you suck, I think so. These are the little detrimental statements that you actually label yourself with. All right. So be very cautious about that, and always finish off and sign there like, I love you, you're getting better, you're good at this, and everything's improving, everything's changing, and I'm getting to know me better, and I love me. For show of gratitude, learn to compliment yourself in every little effort, every little step you take towards working with yourself. This is where you know who you are, where you're coming from, and where you're heading. So, these are the aspects that you call your rewriting, reevaluating, and validating yourself and your life, for that matter. So, the more details you can jot down in this little exercise of actually scripting everything about you, you'll find that you are a potential unlimited self with such unlimited potential of profound imagination. Okay, this will help you to shift your vibrational frequency. As you begin to become more comfortable with you, you become to love you, your own company, and everything about you that you notice that is so unique. And you start aligning yourself, and you notice that your health starts improving, your relationships and your life in areas of relationships and your work, your home. In fact, your life starts blossoming, opening up like little foliages of a rosebud. And it'll please you so much that this energy will radiate forth to everything, and everything that you find you easily can manage and maintain and work with yourself will actually allow you to do the same with all the other cells outside of yourself in whatever situation, circumstance, or experience you find yourself in. It's also important for you to imagine yourself every other day as tomorrow. What are you anticipated, greatest anticipation into experiencing? These are little steps towards allowing yourself, working with yourself, through yourself, by yourself, towards learning how to work into the areas of manifesting the changes you want in your immediate life, immediate environment, immediate workplace. You got to be observant of everything, and you got to be more aware, alert, attentive. Intuitively, you'll start picking all this, and you find that it is just like you're breathing easily, that you can manage yourself in any given situation, exhale, move to the next level, and accomplish. The keynote here is to living your dreams, living the kind of life that you imagine, that you want, by the small changes that you're going to incorporate in your daily life, right? So with this, you create the shift. You shift within you from the all-time low vibrational frequency, and also knowing that even if you are in and you walk into a room where everybody is looking down out, your energy is enough to pick them up, because the moment you smile at everyone and you are on a high note of vibrational frequency, it shifts their all-time low frequency and it brings them up, it elevates them. So you're giving, okay? It's giving of yourself with unconditional love, purposefully, to everything and everyone around you. Even if you walk, don't curse your plants if they've dried out and shriveled. Nurture them just like you would nurture yourself. And give out love to everything. Even if you were to knock your toe, don't curse the stone. Be mindful. Or ask yourself, what was that supposed to teach me? Because, my dear, the real power of everything that you want to experience in your reality is possible. Raise your vibrational frequency, be in awareness, receptive awareness, and this way you work with your intuitive aspect. I wish you, with all sincerity, a happy discovery or rediscovery of your potential authentic self. Graceful blessings. I'm Sophia.